Lifelong patrons of the Fireside Bookshop all agree on one thing. There is something very special about this place, especially at night. Even newcomers can feel it the first time they walk through the door, drawn in by a warm, palpable sense of peace that seems to flow throughout the shop. From your seat at the hearthside sofa, you sit and admire the charm and serenity of the space. The maze of old shelves and stacks of mismatched books would seem disorganized anywhere else. But here, they make sense. No one at the Fireside Bookshop is ever in a rush. It's the perfect place to sit and simply be. As you sink into the sofa, you hear the first few drops of a gentle rain outside. You take a deep breath and allow yourself to sink even further. Let's deepen this state of relaxation with a short wind-down exercise. Tonight's wind-down is a visualization. So, when you're ready, let's begin. So no matter what's been going on today, whether it's been a busy day or a calm one, this is an opportunity to put everything down, to let go of any inner chatter and find a place of rest in both the body and the mind. So first, get yourself comfortable in bed, just taking a moment to pause and be still. And when you're ready, taking a big, deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you breathe out, allowing the body to sink down into your bed, feeling the weight of the body, allowing thoughts to come and go. Now, imagining a steady flow of warm sunlight flowing down through the body, dissolving any tension, any discomfort, as it begins to fill the body, starting with the toes, moving up through the feet and the legs, being filled with sunlight. Qualities of warmth, space, and ease as it continues to travel up through the body. Up past the waist, through the back and the stomach. It's as though it washes away any discomfort. It continues up through the chest and the upper back, into the shoulders and down the arms, all the way down to the hands and fingers. A sense of relief in the body. And stillness in the mind as it continues to travel up through the neck and the throat, into the head and face, all the way to the very top of the body, until there's nothing other than that sense of stillness remaining. And now, just gently bringing the attention back to the body. The fireside bookshop stays open late. Settle into the old hearthside sofa, surrounded by higgledy-piggledy bookshelves, and listen to the rain falling softly outside. To one side of the fireplace is a painting of a saint on a gold leaf background. Beside it is a little charcoal sketch of fishing boats on a turbulent sea. Dotted around are flyers and black and white photographs of authors. Authors standing around talking to other authors. Authors holding books and speaking into microphones surrounded by attentive faces. An author in a scarf, caught mid-sentence, mouth open. An author holding a leather briefcase beside a pile of what are presumably her own books. A businesswoman takes off her coat, or rather, shakes it off, as if shaking off the day's busy thoughts, and walks to the back of the room. A wobbly parquet block clicks underfoot as she takes her coat to the coat rack. Coffee table in front of the sofa is strewn with yesterday's newspapers and flyers for a poetry reading. On the far side of the sofa, a man sits down and takes out his notebook. His curly hair, which pokes out from the back of his woolen hat, gives him a bookish quality. He's a writer, perhaps, or a teacher, or a poet. Yes, isn't he a famous poet? There's something about his expression, that private look in his eye, which suggests that he's writing poetry. There is a blackboard at the front of the shop advertising a literary event from some time ago which hasn't yet been rubbed out. Beside it, on a low table, a cat is stretched over a pile of bargain books, poetry anthologies, the memoir of a cycle courier, a pile of outdated encyclopedias. Two music students, one carrying a black violin case, are rifling wordlessly through the rows of tightly packed albums and CDs in the music section. "You like Beethoven's Third, right?" one says. "Not really," says the other, and they fall back into silence. In the children's section, a father and toddler sit side by side on a beanbag on the floor. One by one, the father pulls books out of the shelf, and one by one, the child packs them in again. The atmosphere in the bookshop is enhanced rather than disturbed by the noises you hear. Softly shuffling steps, pages turning, the snapping and crackling of the fire. It's dark outside. You can't see the neighboring shops. Inside, from the five-armed chandelier, come pools of dim gold light. A bookseller appears to collect the stack of books which a previous browser left on the table beside you. Books on space and the universe and botany. Through the bookshop window, whose dark green sill is obscured with books on antique radios and an actual antique radio, you see a woman in a yellow Macintosh passing along the dark, wet pavement. It's the same woman you saw passing some minutes before, but with a friend now, both huddled under a single umbrella. As they pass the bookshop, they stop and press their faces up to the glass. She looks lost and a little tired. The girl in the blue skirt and the blue polo neck. She wanders aimlessly along the bookshelves, eating an oat biscuit, admiring the books as if admiring a beautiful section of coastline. She doesn't seem to be looking for anything in particular. Perhaps she's just wasting time, waiting for the rain to pass, waiting for someone to arrive, waiting for a seat on the sofa to become available. You watch her, pacing the aisles labeled science, mining engineering, philosophy, sports, romance. The red of her coat mixes with and deepens the reddish undertones of the polished wooden shelves as she passes. Then she goes over to the counter. "Excuse me," she asks, taking off her headphones. "Where is the fiction section?" An elderly man in a light-checked coat with wide lapels sits on a low stool in the rare books room, reading a large volume on the history of botany. While paging through the plates with their beautifully detailed illustrations, he mouths the names of plants silently to himself. Salvia, Hocan ecloa, Calama grostis. He smiles as he reads, as if the book were a companion, as if the names of these plants remind him of someone special. The headlights of passing cars light up the raindrops speckling the windows. Outside, people gather under awnings, waiting for the rain to pass. You've been sitting for some time on the sofa in front of the fire, holding the book without opening it. Now, when you close your eyes for a moment, you feel the weight of the book on your lap. It's heavy, a real tome. You hear the fire, the sound of people moving around on the wooden floors. Many murmurs. It's hard not to love this bookshop, with its little hallways formed by the bookshelves, with their colourful rows of spines, its deep leather sofa, the fireplace which gives the bookshop its name and lights the small hearthrug with its romantic glow. You open the book, read the first line. Although he travelled this road so many times he could have drawn it from memory, you didn't come here for this book. You just happened upon it in the second-hand book section. Or it happened upon you, perhaps, because it wasn't shelved upright like the rest of the books, but was stacked on top of them, sticking out slightly, as if someone else had picked it up and then put it back again. You tuck the silky red ribbon between the pages and close the book again, enjoying its heavy weight in your hands, which seems to push your body even deeper into the sofa. Pages have a consoling, historical smell. The old cover, made of green cloth with gold lettering down the spine, is muted. Unlike the covers of the new releases, with their bright, waxy jackets and bold typefaces, which call out to you from the shelves, demanding your attention. Two women standing in the history section are talking in low voices. They embrace, squeeze hands, exchange a meaningful look, and embrace again. The bookshop is warm, not just from the fireplace. Its atmosphere is warmly thoughtful. The walls are covered with objects, old musical instruments, a mirror, a light fitting in the shape of a fish, old book and album covers, a poster of the history of the bicycle, and a large printer's tray filled with toy cars and gemstones. You start to doze off. Perhaps it's the heat of the fire that makes you sleepy. Perhaps it's the weight of the book on your lap, or the low murmur of a quiz show rerun coming from the old TV suspended on the wall above you. In the corner of the bookshop, between two shelves, the local book club is holding its weekly evening meeting. Some members are on stools, others are sitting on the floor with their backs against the shelves, sitting on their jackets. They're discussing a detective story. A man in a paisley shirt and thick-framed glasses is reminding the others of the clues. Remember this, he says. Remember that. The sofa is a proper sofa, the kind you find in country houses. The kind you can really sink into. Behind it are books. Books, books, books. Books on the windowsills and stacked on the